Lauren and I had been married for 7 years. We weren't perfect, but we were solid, or so I thought. It started small. One evening over dinner, she laughed and said, "Jason at work says I'm his work wife now. You'd like him, he's hilarious." I chuckled politely, brushing it off. Everyone jokes about work husbands and work wives. It didn't feel like a threat. Not then, but soon, Jason became a permanent fixture in our conversations. "Jason said this funny thing today. Jason and I grabbed lunch, he just gets my sarcasm. Jason's the only one at work who understands how stressful it is lately." I wasn't jealous, exactly. But I started to notice how Lauren's tone shifted when she talked about him, lighter, more playful. She lit up in a way I hadn't seen in months. I told myself not to overthink it. Then came the late nights. "Deadline's crazy," she said. "I'll be home late." A missed date night. Then our anniversary. "We'll do something next weekend, babe," she said, kissing my cheek like it didn't matter that she forgot the date we got married. And then, the final hit, the conference. It was a weekend retreat in Scottsdale for her department, a reward for top performers. Only a handful of employees were invited. "It's not spouses or plus ones," she told me while packing. "It's strictly professional." I helped zip her suitcase shut. Later that night, I saw a tagged photo on social media. It was Lauren and Jason, standing just a little too close by the resort pool. His hand was low on her back. Too low. The caption read, "Work husband and wife taking over Scottsdale fire #team goals." That hashtag burned. When she got back, I didn't confront her. Not right away. I watched. I waited. I needed to be sure. But what I did next, I planned carefully. Quietly. If she wanted to play games in front of executives and colleagues, she was about to find out I wasn't as soft or boring as she'd once joked. And I wasn't playing anymore. The idea didn't come out of revenge. It came from clarity. I had spent months shrinking, quietly watching my wife drift toward another man, laughing off the emotional affair she packaged in cute jokes and team selfies. But once I saw that photo, hand on her lower back, smile too familiar, it all snapped into focus. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to be the insecure husband who clings to a crumbling marriage. I was going to observe, prepare, and respond. I knew the second day of the conference had an open networking session. Spouses weren't officially banned, Lauren just hadn't wanted me there. So I decided I'd show up. Unannounced, polished, unbothered, but I wasn't going alone. I reached out to someone I hadn't spoken to in months, Emily. Jason's wife. We'd met at a holiday mixer once, back when everything still felt normal. I remembered she had kind eyes and a quick wit. I messaged her, greater than, "Hi Emily. I know this might sound strange, but I need to talk to you, about your husband and mine." She responded within the hour. By the end of that week, we'd talked on the phone twice. Not gossip, not accusations, just facts, observations, timelines. Her voice wavered once when I mentioned the pool photo. "I had a gut feeling," she said softly. "I just didn't want to be that wife." "Me too," I replied. I asked her a question I never imagined asking. Greater than, "Would you come to the conference with me?" She was quiet for a second. Then said, "I'll be there." On the day of the event, I wore my sharpest suit. Nothing flashy, just confidence, cut clean and pressed into navy blue. Emily met me in the hotel lobby, dressed in elegant black, hair tied up, eyes resolute. We looked like a couple carved from calm. As we entered the main hall, murmurs started. Executives glanced up. Lauren hadn't spotted me yet. She was at the far end, at the bar, laughing with Jason. They were standing way too close. We walked in slowly, deliberately. Someone whispered my name. Another nodded in recognition. They knew Lauren's husband was never invited to these. Then Lauren saw me. Her smile faltered. Her hand dropped from Jason's arm. She blinked, once, then twice, as if trying to make sense of what she was seeing. I could see the gears turning. Why am I here? Why am I with Jason's wife? Why are people watching? I offered a polite smile across the room, then turned my attention to Emily. "Ready?" I asked. She nodded. "Let's make it graceful." We approached the refreshment area, chatting quietly, sipping wine. A few of the executives joined us, including the regional director. Small talk turned into compliments. Emily charmed them with ease, talking about marketing trends, nonprofit work, and travel stories. I added anecdotes about my own consulting business. I could feel Lauren watching the entire time. At one point, Jason excused himself and headed toward the restroom. That's when Lauren finally walked over. "Hey," she said, voice low and tight. "What are you doing here?" I turned to her, all poise. "Networking. Isn't that what this is?" She glanced at Emily, then back at me. "You didn't say you were coming. You didn't invite me," I replied. Her jaw clenched. "You brought his wife. What kind of game is this?" Emily smiled sweetly. "Oh, don't mind me. Just supporting my husband, like you support yours." Lauren's eyes narrowed. I leaned forward slightly and said, "Funny thing, Lauren, some of us still take our vows seriously." She stood there, stunned, humiliated. But it wasn't over. That's when the head of HR came by and asked, "Would you two like to join us for the closing photo?" Emily and I smiled, nodded, and walked toward the center of the room. As we posed for the group shot, Jason returned. He froze when he saw us standing together. The photographer raised his camera. In that split-second moment of tension, Emily leaned over and kissed me softly on the cheek, lingering, graceful, sincere. The room fell quiet, the camera clicked, and Lauren turned pale. Jason's expression cracked, a flicker of panic behind the fake grin he tried to hold. The message had landed, not loud, not cruel, just, clear. Later, in the hallway, Lauren pulled me aside. What the hell was that? I looked her in the eyes, really looked at her. The woman I once adored. The woman who laughed behind my back and flirted across desks. That, I said, was me reminding you who I am. And showing everyone else what you threw away. You think this is funny? She snapped. You embarrassed me in front of my boss. I tilted my head. You embarrassed yourself. You made a choice. Multiple, actually. She tried to reach for my arm, but I stepped back. No more games, Lauren. I'm not here to fix what you broke. I'm here to let you go. Her mouth opened like she had more to say, but nothing came out. I walked away. Emily met me at the elevator. Neither of us said a word until the doors closed. That was intense, she whispered. I nodded. But necessary. She smiled. Thank you for letting me be part of that. I should be thanking you. That night, I slept soundly for the first time in months. No texts from Lauren, no apologies, no excuses, just peace. The next week, Emily filed for divorce. So did I. Jason tried to smooth things over with his company, but the conference story had spread. The kiss, the awkward photos, the whispered conversations, his charm act had cracked. As for me, I didn't try to win anything. I didn't chase validation. I simply moved forward. I left a marriage that forgot how to honor, and I found something greater in the quiet dignity of self-worth. It's strange how peace doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like silence, clean air, sleep that isn't interrupted by anxiety or the sound of texts arriving after midnight. After the conference incident, I didn't expect to hear from Lauren. But 4 days later, she showed up at my apartment. No warning, no call, just her standing in front of the door, holding her keys like they still meant something. Can we talk? She asked softly. I let her in, not because I wanted to fix anything, but because I needed to hear what excuse she'd give this time. She looked tired, not in the physical sense, tired like someone who realized the show was over, and she didn't get the applause she expected. You humiliated me, she started. I nodded slowly. That's what you took from all this. She looked away. I didn't think it would go that far. No, I said, you didn't think I'd do anything. You thought I'd just sit back like always. Be the soft one. The nice guy who never speaks up. Lauren sighed and dropped onto the edge of my couch. You weren't supposed to be like that. Cold, calculated. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. You weren't supposed to be someone who treats her husband like a backup plan. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then finally, she whispered, I messed up. I know, I miss you. You miss control, I corrected. You miss the version of me that tolerated disrespect. Her lip quivered. She was trying not to cry, but I didn't move to comfort her. I didn't feel cruel, I just felt done. You know, I said quietly, when I married you, I thought loyalty would be enough. That showing up, loving hard, and forgiving quickly made me strong. But you used those things against me. Lauren didn't deny it. I don't hate you, I continued. But I can't respect someone who thought I was worth less than her ego. There it was, the truth. No yelling, no slamming doors, just the end. She left without asking for a second chance. Months passed. I didn't rush into anything. Emily and I stayed in touch, but we didn't force something romantic. We were two people who had been humiliated, then healed side by side. That kind of bond didn't need labels. Jason moved departments quietly. Rumor was, HR gave him a choice: transfer, or face a full internal review. Lauren, she stayed in her role, but her shine dimmed. People talked, people watched. She became a cautionary tale. As for me, I began teaching music again. Full-time this time. I found a small house on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just enough for a piano and a reading chair by the window. One afternoon, Emily stopped by with coffee. We sat in silence for a while, watching rain drip down the glass. She glanced at me and said, "You ever think about what would have happened if they hadn't crossed the line?" "Every day," I said. "But not because I want it back. Just because it reminds me how far I've come." She nodded. "Me too." She stood to leave, then paused. "You know, the kiss. It wasn't just for show." "I know," I said. And I didn't mind. We laughed. Then she left. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I'd lost something. I felt like I'd found myself again. Not loud, not dramatic, just real, and free.